Let's begin by sitting down in a comfortable seat, making sure those knees are about in line with the hips or slightly lower. If the knees are higher than the hips, I'm going to ask you to slide something under your seat. It can be a block, it can be a couple of towels, but that will keep the circulation refreshed in your seat. Always try to keep that in mind as well when you're sitting in chairs for a long period of time in meetings, watching film, things like that. Sitting tall, let that tailbone drop down. Inhales are going to lift the ribs up off the hips. Go ahead, start to tilt your head over to the right. Opening the left side of the neck, you can turn your gaze down to that right knee and then turn it back up to the ceiling. Play with that left edge of the neck. Keep breathing, jaw remains relaxed, and then when you're ready, tip over to the other side, using the weight of your head to your advantage as you gently nod, shifting your gaze, turning things around, just making sure your neck is loosening up. Then bring it back center, maybe swivel your head left and right, chin stays parallel to the floor. You can roll your head all the way around. Being gentle and easy here. 1 or 2 rotations on each side or in each direction. You don't need much. Remember, you're just maintaining at this point, so a little goes a long way. Deep inhale through the nose, sit tall, out through the mouth, let it go. Breathe in again. And release. Remove whatever is under your seat. You can either bring your feet together, hold on to those toes, fold yourself down, start to crack into the inner hips, maybe walk those hands forward, shifting your torso side to side. It's going to kind of let you snuggle in a bit more. If feet together, knees wide isn't super comfy, you can just cross your legs comfortable and then lean forward. So that's a preferred option for me, but sometimes feet together, knees wide gives you more of a balanced stretch in the hips. Just a breath or two. And then when you sit up on an inhale, you're going to lean back on your 2 blocks for your chest openers. Block number 1 behind your shoulders. Block number 2 behind your head. The one behind your shoulder blades needs to be around level 2 or level 1, that flattest level. And then whichever one you choose, the block behind your head is the next level up. So we don't ever want to skip the levels. And allow those legs to lengthen out. We don't want to tighten up the front side of the hips. Let the arms stretch back, not letting the hands go lower than the shoulders. That's very important. So you may feel better and more controlled to grab opposite elbows. That's going to maintain a healthy rotation in the shoulders. Then arms drop to your sides. Breathe here for a few moments, up to 3 minutes. Honestly, if you have a timer and you just want to enjoy, let those shoulders drop back with the exhales. You can start to turn the block behind your head down a notch, about 10-15 breaths at a time. And this is something you can stretch out and let it be a little bit longer, especially if you're really tight. Sometimes just resting here and breathing is all you have to do for that back, just to kind of sort itself out. You don't have to do a ton of stuff. Relax the jaw. Maybe as that block changes back more, you can stretch those arms back just to kind of lead that stretch in the upper body as the legs are leading down in the lower body. Your head drops back all the way. Try bending your knees, feet to the floor. Lift your hips up, wag your tail side to side, and then set the hips back down. Make that adjustment in the low back. Maybe let the legs stretch back out. You can lift your head, look down the belly if you need to just kind of counter that in the upper body as well. But now you should be leaning completely back. Chest is open, broadening. No more than 5-10 breaths. You don't need to be here long. That blood flow in the head, after a while, you're going to have enough. And then get the blocks out of your way, roll onto the back. It's best to do this on a hardwood floor if you can, and then your mat on top, just for the sake of the massage and that pressure in the tissue. Take care of that low back, the sacrum, and then let the knees fall to the right. Gaze to the ceiling so that neck remains neutral. Left arm can reach out away from the bent legs. 3 or 5 breaths, and then drop the knees on the other side. Keep breathing. Check your jaw, eyelids, forehead. Don't let your mind think too much here. Chill out. This needs to be effortless, thoughtless. Let your legs stretch back up. Once you come to center, rotate ankles, wiggle toes. And then I want you to rock back and catch your hips with your hands. Get onto those shoulder blades for your plow. Don't tuck your chin to the chest. See if you can leave that airway open just a hair. Hold your hips with the hands. If your toes cannot touch the floor behind you without bending your knees, you don't need to let your feet touch the floor yet. This is a chance to stretch out those hamstrings. I'd rather you let those legs lengthen a bit more, not locking out, but I'd rather you try to straighten them. So see what happens there. 5-10 breaths, and then you're going to rock up, use the momentum, and step back into your down dog and let all of that stretch out for a breath or two, and then collapse to child's pose. Take several breaths here. Just hips sinking down. Notice how your toes are. If the toenails are down to the floor and that hurts or is cramping, curl the toes under. Rock side to side. And you can always take a little bolster or a blanket underneath the top of the feet, between the feet and the mat. So stretch those arms out, fingertips to the ground, and walk your hands over to the left about 45 degrees. Flatten out that right hand. So you're going to the left. Opposite hand flattens down. You lean into that opposite arm. So that right arm is your pillow, and you're feeling that right side open all the way into the pinky. Left hand comes closer to your body, and you can kind of press into the floor to give it a nudge into a deeper place. No more than 5 or 6 breaths, and then on an inhale, you're going to pass through the center and come out of it. Exhale, go to the other side. Left palm flattens down. Your head is resting in that left arm. Apply a little bit of weight with your body here. Breathe. And then come back center. Arms extend out, almost kind of like giving thumbs up. Just rest on the outer pinky edges of the hands so the palms are facing each other. That gives more of a relaxed tone throughout the joints and the arms. Maybe rotate your wrists, pop your fingers, anything you need to do here. Your hands aren't being used right now. And just chill out. And then on the next inhale, I want you to come into your tabletop. So pull yourself up, wrists underneath your shoulders, knees under the hips. You need to have distinctive 4 legs, so make sure those knees are separated. They are not together. Your legs are right here. You need a base of 4 points touching the ground independently. Wag your tail side to side, kind of playing with the lower edges of your waistline on each side, just to kind of go back to those side bends for a moment. And then I want you to start the process of cat-cow. Drop your belly down, inhale, lean forward into your hands for the cow. Exhale, we're going to tuck it all in, hands pressed down. Look back at the chest, at the pelvis. Bring your belly down, chin comes up away from the chest. Exhale, tuck the chin in, lock in, round out. This is good for that thyroid. Opening everything up, refreshing all of it, and then you can start to circle around here. So drop that belly down to cow, over to the right, up to cat, to the left, and down to cow. Do that a few times in one direction. And then when you feel it's appropriate, just kind of gently reverse. Just making sure you're getting all sides, all angles. You don't have to do too much of this, but this is really great to do first thing in the morning when you're waking up before a full belly or before a meal or before a workout, just to kind of turn all the lights on in that nervous system all the way down the spinal column. Okay, so to stretch that out, I want you to get your blocks, turn them to level 3, have them shoulder width apart, no wider. Get your elbows on there. Your hips stay over the knees. So if you see my hips are higher versus closer to the heels, my head's dropping down, the weight of my chest is dropping down. If your wrists are ever sensitive and down dog really isn't an option or you don't want much, do this. And if you see, you can walk those knees forward. It's not going to be as much of a drop. This is a much more intense place with the knees over the hips. Hips over the knees. So 5 to 10 breaths, and then get the blocks out of the way. And then let the arms reach out parallel. Drop your forehead, true puppy pose. So same idea, just not as active of a stretch. The other one with the blocks, no more than 30 seconds. And then pull yourself up to down dog. And then walk your hands back to your feet. Sway side to side in this fold. Interlace your hands behind the neck. Pinkies compress into the base of your head. Tuck your chin in here. And when you turn your head left and right, you're going to just kind of open up that back. I want you to feel where your feeling this in the back, low back, mid back. And then when you're ready, you're going to pull yourself up. Inhale, stretch those arms high. Maybe interlace those hands behind your head or hands behind your back. Lean back, stretch out that front side. Let it breathe, similar to a cobra. And then I'm going to have you fold right back down towards your legs. Maybe grab your ankles and then walk your hands out in front for your down dog. Take your right leg up. Rotate the ankle, wiggle the toes. Stay strong in the 3 points that are still on the mat. You're going to rock forward, three-legged plank. Right leg stays lifted. This is good for that low back. Engage here. Hands press down, navel lifts up, and then rock back. Exhale, three-legged dog. Inhale, plank, glide, move with ease. Pause. Hold yourself up. Exhale, tip back. Come forward again. Inhale, look forward, nice and strong. And then step that right foot to the outside of the right hand. Low lunge. Keep that back knee lifted. Take a minute here. You can always drop the knee down if you need to improvise. Now, I want you to shift that back foot, if you can, that left foot. It was facing forward to the top of the mat. I want you to turn it out to the left 45 degrees. Anchored down through the outer edge of that left little toe. My hands are walking away from that right foot over to the left about 45 degrees, like a down dog shape. I'm leaning back into that right foot, pressing down through the left outer foot, so you're getting that ankle stretch. Head is dropping down, relax the neck. 5 or 6 breaths here, and then those hands walk back to the right. Grab your blocks. You're facing forward, blocks at level 3. Back heel spins up, so it's almost like a lunge shape. But that front leg, that right leg, I want you to try to lengthen it out a little bit. If you see, I have a little bend, but I'm not locked out. Right hand on the hip, you're twisting things out, trying to anchor down through that right big toe. So you're wanting to feel the stretch in the outer right hip. That's what you're wanting, so into that IT band. So as you lengthen that front leg more, you're going to feel more of the stretch. You can stretch that right arm next to the ear, reaching back and over. It just depends on how much you want. More of a bend, it's not as intense. More of a straight leg, it's very intense. And then when you're ready, come back down. Blocks at level 1. I want you to use your hands to sweep that right leg back. And then you come forward, three-legged plank. Go halfway down, pause, hold it for a breath or two. Chill out, relax, it's not a big deal. And then lift your chest, cobra. And then rock back, child's pose. Take several breaths. You can keep your hands on the blocks. You can remove the hands. It's a little more fiery. Don't get frustrated. Just do it a couple more times. You're going to pull the down dog. And let's actually remove the blocks. You don't need them just yet. Go back to three-legged dog. Now that left leg goes up. So we're going to rock forward. Three-legged plank. Work on keeping that left leg lifted. Navel draws in. Hands press down. You're activated. Working. Breathe. Tip back on an exhale. Let your head hang. Look behind you. Inhale, come forward. Look forward. Chin out of the chest. Same thing with that thyroid. Chin pulls out. Inhale. On the exhale, when you're ready, tip back. Tuck your chin. Three-legged dog. This next one, inhale, we're going to come forward. Three-legged plank, and then step that left foot forward. Lunge for a moment. Open up the hips. Take a breath. And then drop your back heel. Press down through the outer edge of that right toe, right little toe. Your hands walk over to the right, away from that front leg. Drop your gaze. So those arms extending out. Upper body's like a down dog. Lower body is in that warrior stance. Your legs are still charging forward to the front of the mat. You can drop down to the forearms as well. Sink into it. Inner right leg is lengthening. Front leg is getting stronger. Breathe. 5 or 6 breaths. You don't need to be here long. And then you're going to turn forward. Grab your blocks. Back heel spins up. So you're curling the back toes under. Lengthen that front leg a little bit to at your own discretion. But as you pull that left hip back, you're going to twist to the left. Right hand stays down on the block. Take that hand on the hip. You can stay here. The more that front leg lengthens, the more of a stretch you're going to feel. Maybe bring that left arm closer to the ear. Reaching overhead. Breathing. And then inhale, that hand comes down to the floor. Turn your blocks at the lowest level. Pinkies and thumbs are wrapping around those blocks. Your hands are big enough. You're probably going to wrap around them pretty easy. Step that left leg back, three-legged dog, rock forward, three-legged plank. Go halfway down, keep that leg lifted. And then lift your chest, cobra. And then child's pose. Exhale, sink down. Take several breaths here. You're going to feel your heart racing. You're going to feel the rhythm of the breath. Try to use the breath to calm everything down. And then when you're ready, I'm going to have you come up to kneeling. You may need a blanket to pad your knees, but your knees are going to be about hip width apart. And toes, you can even keep toenails down, or you can curl the toes under. But hands on the hips, you're going to look up, inhale, lift your chest up, and then lean back, exhale. Relax your jaw, the shoulders, try to keep your neck long. If your head's feeling heavy in the neck, I want you to bring your chin to the chest and look forward. Just another breath or two, and then come forward into that child's pose. Your toes can curl under, or toenails can stay flat on the ground. Just for a breath or two here. We aren't wanting to stay too long. Just get in and out and enjoy some counter poses. Pull yourself back up on the next inhale, hands on the hips, lift your chest, lift the gaze. Exhale, tip back. It's a little bit more. Again, you can look up or tuck your chin in and look forward, whatever is more neutral on the neck. And then come forward and down on an inhale. Relax the toes maybe, arms at your sides, knees together, teeny tiny package. Child's pose. Arms at your sides may feel better for more of a shape here. One more time, if you're up for it, this is getting those hip flexors and quads. Lift your chest, look up, hands on the hips. Exhale, lean back. Keep leaning back, keep leaning back. Exhale, exhale, just one breath. And then you're going to come forward and down, forehead to the ground. Grab your feet, roll to the crown of your head. Your hips come up. You're really getting a big stretch in your spine. And then you can lower down when you're ready. Arms out in front, pull up and back, down dog. Relax, pedal in place. Start to walk your hands back to the feet when you're ready. Forward fold and just sway side to side here. The more your weight tips into your toes, the more the legs are going to stretch out here. Arms sweep up, reach back. Hands behind your head, elbows wide. And then you can come forward, and I want you to start to rotate side to side with that chest. And allow your hips to come with you at first, back and forth. And then once you start to get a rhythm and find a nice steady pace, I want you to try to keep those hips square in front. Not as much movement. They can move a little, that's fine, but try to keep it more isolated in this upper back, and arms at goalpost, and just breathe. Crown of the head is reaching up, encouraging that engaged lift. Going side to side, not forcing anything, and learning that your body just slowly starts to open up. You just got to give it time. Just a few more breaths. Notice when you slow it down, when you go faster, and then when you're ready, stop. Go on ahead and grab your blocks. Take them to the top of the mat. Standing within reach of them, get those feet under your hips. Get situated. And let's balance in that right foot. Left foot picks up. You can grab your thigh. You can grab the front of the shin. Crown of the head is going high. Standing foot is pressing down. Don't clench your teeth. Don't think too hard. Let go of the leg. Hands at prayer. Maybe bend that standing knee. Take a minute. Can you handle it? And then stand back up. Stretch the left leg out. And then bring it back in. Bend that standing leg one more time. Lean forward. Let this left leg slowly start to stretch back. Try to bring your torso parallel to the floor. That leg will help. Let it lift a little higher. It will tip you forward. Arms are stretching in front. Breathing. Nice T. Warrior 3. And then those blocks are there. Tip forward. Hands, catch them. Fold down into that standing leg. That left leg steps back. Drop the outer edge of the foot. Warrior 1. You're sinking forward. Press through the outer edge of that left foot. Stretch the ankle. Breathe. Arms are just reaching up, just helping you have a vertical lift in that upper body. And then hands to the ground. Exhale. Lean into that left hand. Right hand grabs the hip. You're twisting things out. Sweep that right leg back on an inhale. Three-legged dog. Come forward. Three-legged plank. Halfway down. Chaturanga. Cobra, up dog, release. And then your down dog. Take a few breaths. Step to the top of the mat. Forward fold when you get there. And then rise on up. Shifting your weight into the left foot now. Right leg comes up. Grab the thigh, the shin bone. Take a few breaths. Press down through that standing leg. Crown of the head goes high. Hands to prayer. Let go of the leg. Stretch the leg out. Bend the standing knee. Stand up again. Stretch the leg out. Bend the knee. Sit down. Lean forward. Stretch that right leg back. Crown of the head forward. Hands at prayer, or they can stretch out in front. Breathe. Feel the control. Soft bend of that standing leg. And then hands grab the blocks. Forward fold down. Step back with that right foot. Drop the outer edge of the foot. Come up. Warrior one. On side two. Press down with that left big toe. Hips are turned out to the side with that back knee with the back toes. Then hands to the ground. Sweep that left leg back high to the sky. Come forward, three-legged plank. Go down. And then lift your chest. Cobra. And then child's pose. Exhale. Rocking side to side here. Now you can do that as many more times as you want. Repetition is lovely. Just repeat it and enjoy it. Just make sure you stay even on both sides. But for the sake of this video, we're going to go on ahead and sit down. Grab your blocks, lay down, lift your hips up. I'm going to say get both blocks at level one, stack them and bring them underneath your hips. You're going to be able to change it up into any variation using one block or two blocks, whatever you want. I'll show you examples of that in a minute. But you can let one leg stretch out at a time while the other leg is bent, or allow both legs to go in front. Getting more to the point in the hips, you did the same exact thing, standing up, same shape. Just different perspective. Arms can be at your sides, parallel to each other, or reaching out in a T or at goalpost, arms bent. Other options, hold onto your blocks and allow your legs to go straight up. So this is good if you have a lot of pressure in your head and plow what we did in the beginning. Catching your hips is too much. That's an option. You can remove the blocks. I like sometimes using one at level 3, the tallest height. That's going to give more pressure into this one place in the sacrum. That actually feels really good for me. It's not the same for everybody, but you may want to do that. You also have the height here. You can turn one foot down at a time if you want more stretch in that hip flexor and quads. If you see, that's what I'm doing there. Same arm is reaching back to encourage the length. No more than 5 breaths and then switch. Other side. And then release. Whatever you want to do with the blocks, you can remove it from level 3. I also like level 1, and they both line up right next to each other like train cars. And then those legs can stretch out in front. Much more mild, but still very effective. Arms can reach back at this point. This shouldn't be a lot of pressure in the low back. Anybody with a swayed back, this is actually going to be gold for you. This was probably your Shavasana. With level 1 option, you can bring one knee into your chest while the other leg goes out in front, almost like a jackknife shape, and feeling what that can do. 3 or 5 breaths, and then switch sides. Make sure you're breathing, chill out in the face. The muscles need to be relaxed. Breathe here, be here. When you're done, you can remove the blocks. Lower yourself back down. Feet can be together, knees wide, butterfly position. You can let those legs stretch out all together. Feet flop open. Get one block. Last little point I'm going to give you is block at level 2 or level 3 for larger frames. Get that block behind your head and use the edge of the block to trace your hairline, and just turn your head a little left and right. Relaxing your jaw, eyes are closed. Hopefully that will kind of just top everything off for you. Let the rest of your body be lifeless, be still. Feel the heaviness in the legs, heaviness in the arms, in the hips, in the torso, even in your head, pressing onto the block. And then when you're done with the block, no more than 2 minutes. That's not a healthy dosage, anything more than 2 minutes, no matter how long you've been doing it. Remove the block when you're done. Replace it with a blanket or a pillow if you need the extra support. Just breathe here in Shavasana for a few more moments. Stretch those arms real quick next to the ears. Big pull of the hands going in one direction, your feet going in the opposite direction. Get that length and then just let go. Feel heavy, relax. Breathe with ease in through the nose, both nostrils. Go slow with it. Try to take the breath down into the belly. Fill slowly all the way into the top of the head. When you exhale, I want you to think about exhaling from the bottom of the belly. Draw that navel in. Help everything empty out. Be thorough here. Your mind is calm and quiet. Allow the breath to fill the body, to fill the joints, permeate the bloodstream. Feel your nerves start to relax and calm down. Feel the heaviness in your limbs, and don't let it be heaviness. Feel more grounded. Feel more centered, more in sync. Feel the power of the breath and how it's able to calm you down. So in moments of chaos, when you're feeling anxious, when you're feeling rushed, slow it down. Use your breath. Open your eyes. Blink a few times, looking up at the ceiling. Take an inhale through the nose, out through the mouth. Breathe in again, and out. Start to wiggle toes, hands, bend your knees, feet to the floor. Allow that low back to lengthen. And with the feet somehow staying to the floor, let those knees drop left and right together like windshield wipers, just massaging that low back. Take your time. Use this movement just to wake you up. Start to get motivated to move around, to get up off the floor. And then let those knees pull you over to one side and you roll, resting your head on that lower arm. Blood flow, everything needs to continue to recalibrate, so give yourself time. Start to sit up, lean forward, stretch it out, and you're done.